I am live with Friday Apaliski. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And today we're going to be, so Friday she is a sustainability consultant. And I met her recently at a mastermind group and she kind of blew my mind. I feel like I'm not unlike a lot of you out there where I want to do the right thing to the environment, for the environment. But sometimes I can't really keep it all straight. And, so of course I can recycle and, do some basic things, but sometimes it feels very overwhelming. So, excuse me. Friday actually has a business where, she does multiple things, but she'll come into your home and actually just kind of give you some tips on what you can do better. And you can set up, like, this is what's the most important. She'll even look at your makeup, like all different kinds of stuff, and then give you a report on how you can change things, and then, help you pick without judgment, kind of what kinds of things to change. So I just thought that was amazing. And so I asked her to come and chat with us today. And we picked the topic about plastic in the kitchen. So Friday, can you tell me why that's a subject that's near and dear to your heart?
I mean, plastic is just a really problematic product. And it feels ubiquitous in the kitchen. And it's one of the things that clients say to me all the time. They'll come to me and say, I just feel so guilty about all this plastic. I feel so bad about all this plastic, or plastic around my food, or like, I don't know how to avoid it. And so part of the reason I suggested we talk about it today is because I just know that it's something that's on so many people's minds.
Well, dumb it down for those of us who are not as smart as all of your friends. Like, why is plastic so bad?
Yeah, it's a great question. And plastic is everywhere. So first thing I should say is there are some very good uses of plastic, right? Like, plastic is not an evil product, generally speaking, but it is a product that is designed to basically never, ever break down, right? The earth can never digest plastic.
But we can just recycle it, right?
Well, kind of. The plastics industry would really like you to believe that you can just recycle plastic. But the truth is, plastic recycling is very difficult and very expensive. So in truth, if you are a producer of a product, buying virgin plastic is cheaper than buying recycled plastic. So there's not really an incentive to use recycled plastic, which means there's not really an incentive to sell recycled plastic. And there's a zillion different types of plastic. And so when you put it all in your bin, somebody or some very fancy machine has to sort through all of that. And that's a long and laborious process as well. And ultimately, plastic is not a fully recyclable material. It is a downcyclable material. So the carton of whatever that let's say cottage cheese, you got a thing of cottage cheese, comes in a plastic container, you put it in the recycle bin, that might then become plastic wrap. And you put that in the soft plastic recycling, and that's going to become a park bench. And that's the end. That's the end of it. After that, it goes to the landfill. So, and unfortunately, what really happens to plastic is it breaks up into teeny tiny little pieces, and it gets into the waterways, it gets into the ocean, the fish eat it, then you eat the fish. It's just not good. There's like a whole other toxic element to it. And most people don't know this. Plastic is made from oil. It's literally made out of dinosaur bones. So it's not a renewable product. It's not a very recyclable product. And it has a bunch of chemicals in it that we don't want touching our food.
And is it true that not all the plastic in our recycling bin is actually being recycled because there's not actually a demand for it?
Yeah, that is true. I would say here where I live in San Francisco, they do a very good job And they have been working to have very clean streams and very extensive networks for resale, but not every place is like that. And many places you saw when China in 2018 decided that they weren't going to take our dirty garbage anymore, and they only wanted our very clean recyclables. Many waste haulers just said, we're not doing plastic. It's just going to the landfill.
Okay. All right.
And worse than that, some of them will take it and send it to far off countries like Thailand and, you know, faraway places, and then they just burn it there, which really has a terrible impact on those communities, or they'll just dump it in the ocean. I mean, it's really problematic. Plastic is problematic. And ultimately it comes back to this idea that the earth can't digest it. If you put your cardboard box and it blows away in the wind and ends up in the ocean, it's not ideal. It's not going to hurt anybody, right? And glass becomes sand and rocks. And, you know, like aluminum comes from, it's an ore from the earth. Like plastic is just not that.
All right. So how do we get it out of our kitchens?
So how do we get it out of our kitchens? The first place that I want you to think about getting rid of plastic is in disposable plastic, right? This like short-term use of plastic, because like I said, it's designed to last forever. So most people are very good, I think, at bringing their own bags to the grocery store. I know that COVID kind of knocked us off our feet on that for a little while, but we're back. We're back. We all know that COVID is not spreading by touching bags or touching anything really. So keep your mask on and bring your own bags to the grocery store, because a plastic bag, you know, that you use for 5 minutes then lasts forever and ever and ever. And in your kitchen, that version is Ziploc bags. So I'm going to start with like the most.
Not the Ziploc.
I know. That's everyone's response. They're like, oh, the Ziploc bag. I know. So first things first, mark my words. If you are serious about stopping using Ziploc bags, do not keep a little bit of them in your because I know that you will go back and use them. Everybody does. Like everybody does. So the best way to deal with it is take those Ziploc bags and put them in the garage or put them in the laundry room or like get them out of the kitchen.
I have to log off now.
There are some great, like, okay, let's think about what you use a plastic bag for, right? Maybe use it for half a lemon or some leftover, I don't know.
I go to Costco, I like cut up stuff. I put it in there, I put it in the freezer. I'm from the Midwest. Like, you know, if there's a nuclear explosion, I need like stuff.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. I have a freezer, like an extra one.
But what do I put in it? What do I put that stuff in? You know, how do I?
The wondrous mason jar. This is my favorite tool in the whole kitchen. No joke. This is my favorite size of mason jar, mostly because it perfectly houses an avocado. But also like you can use the mason jars come in a bajillion sizes, right? Like you can get the really small ones, you can get big ones, you can get tall ones, you can get wide ones, you can get them for everything. You can put pasta in them, you can put lemon in them, you can put any leftover that you would put in a Ziploc bag, you can put it in a mason jar. And it seals tight, okay? So you just, you know, you have there's 3 pieces, okay? And while you can only use the lid once when you're actually canning, once you've opened it, you can't reseal it like to can something, but you can use it all day long for leftovers. Like it works just fine. So keep those lids, don't throw them away. And you just put it on and tighten it up. It's airtight, so it's going to keep your food really fresh. Here's another bonus. It's see-through. And I'm telling you, when you see your food, you eat it. You don't waste it. So this is my first one. Like my first go-to is always the mason jar. that doesn't work because maybe you have a sandwich or something, I love myself a reusable sandwich bag. This is just cloth and it folds over just like those old paper ones used to, but like cloth. Cloth is a great solution. This one is made by this amazing woman in San Francisco. Her business is called Aplat. Can you see this? Oh, it's backwards. Anyhow, but she has some beautiful textiles for your kitchen that are definitely worth checking out. So that would be another place where you could eliminate a Ziploc baggie.
Okay.
Similar to Ziplocs is saran wrap or plastic wrap, right? Lots of people have a hard time with that. We don't want this, right? We don't want this. So most of the time I see it used as a bowl covering, right? Like you make a salad and you put it on. I would like to show you my favorite bowl cover. It looks a bit like a shower curtain.
Yes, I was just thinking that. Shower
cap. This one is linen. I love it very much. It comes from this woman, Molly, in Mill Valley. Her business is Ambatalia, and you can find it online at Non-Disposable Life.
You'll have to send me the links for stuff. And when we transcribe this, we'll add the links.
Yes.
So to the people who you're recommending.
Yeah, for sure. Because they're all local and women mostly and amazing.
Amazing.
But these come in multiple different sizes and I love them. They also are beautiful. Like there's something really nice about having beautiful things in your kitchen, right? This is a space that, especially now, we're spending so much more time in. And plastic is kind of, let me say it this way. Martha Stewart never has plastic in her imagery at all because it just doesn't look particularly nice, I think. So anyway, so a bowl cover is great. I will also say lots of people really like this beeswax wrap. Have you ever seen this?
No, I have not.
It's kind of tactile, right? Because it's like a cloth. You can see like this. And it's a little bit stretchy, a little bit sticky, not sticky, but like tacky. And you can mold it over anything like a bowl or whatever. You could wrap stuff in it if you want to. It's a great alternative to plastic wrap. But I will say this, I am a person with very cold hands and it does not work for me. I had this in my house for 2 years and I just about threw it away. And then my husband grabbed it and was like, wow, this works fantastic. I'm like, how did you get it to work? He goes, I don't know, it just kind of melts and molds and his hands are very warm.
Interesting.
So if you are a cold-handed person, beeswax wrap might not be your friend. But if you are a warm-handed person, this is a great alternative.
Okay, good one.
So I think as we think about disposable plastic, often the other kind of category for disposable plastic is food packaging.
I was just thinking, like, do you have kids?
I do. I have
so kids lunch,
7-year-old.
You know, like
lunch.
So I have those little, you know, there's the little square things with the dividers and they're plastic.
Yeah.
So what are we doing there?
Okay, so I hadn't pulled this out, but see, this is why I do this in my kitchen so that I can like quick grab the thing. So what I have for my son for lunch, which I love, although he's at school right now, so many of the things are with him. But this company called You Can Serve, another woman based in Sausalito, makes these great nesting, like metal nesting containers, and they have clear silicone tops on them, so you can see what's inside. They can go in the dishwasher. They're great. So I like these for lunch. I also have this lunch bots, which has like all the divided.
Oh, I see.
And it's like waterproof or what? Not waterproof, isn't it? It seals.
Yeah.
Like I put strawberries in here and like other liquidy things, and they all stay fine.
And do they run onto each other? Because my kids are like, the pepperoni got on the strawberry.
No.
I'm sure
This
your
is-
kids don't eat
This
pepperoni.
is like real good. And you can get it in like a million different configurations. So this one is lunch box.
Got it.
You can get them. There's some local stores that sell them, but also you can get them online.
Mhm.
So that's like lunch. And then kind of which goes with that when you're talking about food packaging is if you're at the grocery store, try and buy things in the bulk section. So if your kids are eating, cashews or dried mangoes or whatever, like get those in the bulk section, right? You can put them in a cloth bag or a paper bag. Then you bring it home and then put it in, store it in a glass jar like this that's sealed. Or a mason jar would also work, a big one, but I have a bunch of these because my pantry is all, the same. And then you could put them into your lunch containers really easily, right? And you've got no plastic all the way through and you have got really fresh food. So I think that's one way is thinking about what can you buy in the bulk section. Almost every grocery store has a bulk section now. And certainly there are some stores that are better than others, like Rainbow Grocery or Berkeley Bowl or Sprouts. There's a bunch of them. Other avenues. There's a new one that's about to open in North Beach I want to tell you about called Replenish Grocery.
Nice.
It should open at the end of this month.
Exciting.
So anyway, they're becoming more and more. So look for bulk shopping. Also, when you're in the store, you have the opportunity to make a choice, right? It's as simple as this. This ketchup comes in plastic. This ketchup comes in glass. They're right next to each other on the shelf. Pick the one that comes in glass. And I should say, like, glass is the best thing, right? It's not toxic, doesn't leach into your food, and it is infinitely recyclable. The next best choice is aluminum, like a tin can or soda can or whatever. The bad news about aluminum is it is lined with plastic, but aluminum is a very difficult material to get raw. So it is very, very recycled. Something like 98% of all aluminum is recycled. So you can put it in the recycle bin and know with 100% confidence that it is being recycled. And it also can recycle and recycle and recycle. So pick first glass and then aluminum. And then, of course, paper or cardboard is great if possible. But usually when you find something that's a cardboard box, the inside has plastic. Sneaky plastic on the inside. A couple of things. See, it is good. I bring my notes. I wanted to show you my bread box.
Okay.
Because bread is another one of those ones that generally is associated with plastic. I will tell you that getting a bread box fundamentally changed the whole dynamic in my family.
But don't you still have to buy the bread in plastic and then put it in the bread box? Or don't tell me you make your own bread.
Oh no, I did though for a whole COVID year make bread. But no, I will, you know what? I'll just show you. Look, I buy, what is in my bread box today? Saltwater Bake Shop. This is from the grocery or from the farmer's market, but you can get, name your bakery. Every store has bread in a paper bag, right? I keep it in the paper bag. This is loaf style bread, right? This is a real look into my family here. But this is for sandwich making and toast making. And we're the same as everyone else. We're not only eating French bread and whatever. But this bread is a week old. This bread is a week old because I mistimed it and we already had another loaf and blah, 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 blah. And it is soft.
Interesting.
And delicious. I literally had a piece of toast this morning. It's wonderful. So a bread box will keep your bread nice and soft for a good long time. And so then you don't have to buy plastic. So I would say
that's a good tip. I'm still my heart is still hurting from the Ziplocs. I have to be honest.
They're the worst. They're the worst of them. We got to get rid of the Ziplocs. Also, I really don't want your food touching plastic.
Yeah.
And I didn't really say this because like, once you start talking about toxics, people get really down about it. And like, just trust me on this, okay? Plastic leaches into your food and you don't want that. You really don't want it for your kids. And we just don't want that. And really, really like hard no on hot food in plastic. No reheating in plastic. Really, really hear me when I say this. Don't do that.
I'm definitely with you there.
Yeah, don't do that. So the bread box is a big one. Like other ways of thinking about like avoiding plastic in the grocery store, like Strauss milk comes in a glass jar, right? And you can resend it back. Like what other opportunities are there? Like there's yogurt now that comes in a glass jar instead of a plastic. Look for those opportunities where you can choose something other than plastic. It's usually there. You just have to take an extra second. And then once you get it, then you're in the groove of it, right? Like then you're like, oh, I found that solution and I just keep buying the same thing. Okay. How are we doing? Am I overwhelming you?
No, we're doing great. Do you have a couple last tips before we wrap up?
Yes, I have a couple more. I want to like shift gears a little bit and talk about cleaning in the kitchen, because that's kind of the other big source of plastic, I think. And I really like have a good, well worked out kitchen system. So first things first, this is going to kill you too. We got to stop using paper towels. Oh, I know. So here's the thing, like, yes, of course, your paper towels are paper, and that is definitely better than plastic, but most people's paper towels come wrapped in plastic. So that's not great.
Well, I guess I'll have to go back to the old thing that my mom always used to do, was take all the t-shirts and cut them up, and we had like a rag box. And when we'd have company, sometimes the rag box would be like old underwear or something.
That happened in my family too. There's definitely old underwear in like my dad's old shorts, definitely in the rag box. And my mom, bless her heart, she lives downstairs from us now. Like she moved all the old rags. Like they really do last.
Yeah.
But if old t-shirts, look, I'm all for DIY. And if that's your jam, like do a little clean out on your closet, and all those, marathon t-shirts or t-shirts from work things or whatever that you don't want, cut them up and turn them into rags. They're great. If that's not your jam, which is also totally fine, there's this company in Oregon, in Eugene, Oregon, called Marley's Monsters. Go Ducks. I'm a duck. And they make the unpaper towel. Okay. And it looks just like a paper towel roll. You could even use your own paper towel roll. You don't have to buy a wooden one, but you just roll these up and they come off just like paper towels.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Right? So you don't really have to change your habit too much. And they work great for wiping your mouth, drying your tears, serving a piece of toast, wrapping up a sandwich. I mean, like all the same stuff that you would use a paper towel for. And you can wipe the counter with them, right? Here's the trick. So I've talked a lot about cloth, and cloth is key to getting rid of plastic. But a really important aspect of that is to have a hamper in your kitchen.
I do have that. Yay. 1 point for Ruth.
Because you're not going to use cloth if you have to like walk into another room to get rid of it once it's dirty. So like mine, I don't think, maybe you can see here. I have like one of these pull out garbage cans. Like I don't need a trash can, a landfill one that's that big. So I turned that other one. So that's recycling and laundry.
Yeah. Got it.
So that's the one thing. I think it's really great. But these aren't perfect for soaking up messes, right? Like that's the other thing paper towels are really good at, right? Soaking up spills. So for that, you need, and forgive me because this is my used one, this is a Swedish dishcloth. And when you buy it new or when it dries, it gets hard. It's made out of cotton and cellulose. It's 100% compostable. So this is great. It's floppy. You can put some soap on it if you want to, but it does a great job at cleaning up spills. And when you're done with it, it lasts like, I would say 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're done with it, you put it in the compost bin.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah, it's like real zero waste. So that's the second thing. And then, of course, you need to scrub your dishes. And I am so sorry to tell you this, but those blue sponges, they're plastic.
Friday. You're killing me.
It's everywhere. It's so bad.
Okay, so what is the sponge replacement?
Okay, so the sponge replacement is like maybe my favorite thing I ever found. It's a wool sponge.
Okay.
So this is what this wool sponge looks like.
Not that pretty.
Well, I mean, it's also not that ugly. This is what it looks like brand new before it's
I guess a blue sponge is not that pretty either.
A blue sponge is not that pretty either. And a blue sponge leaves all that blue stuff everywhere.
I guess. Okay. I'm hearing you. This is good. Like we gotta get
okay.
information.
So this is what it looks like when you very first begin. It's a piece of wool. And it shrinks down, right? Because wool shrinks when you get it hot and wet. But here's some great things. First of all, I don't know if you can tell, I'm going to put this really close. It's like real scrubby. Yeah. Okay. So it has a good amount of scrub. It's totally compostable. So it goes in the compost bin when you're done. This lasts for months and months. I mean, like at least 3 months. If it gets grody and you don't like it, you can throw it in the wash machine or throw it in the dishwasher. But my favorite is that wool is naturally antimicrobial, so it doesn't smell.
Yeah, I know sponges
I have
like really gross. So which is another reason people probably throw them away or like microwave them or different things like that.
You don't have to do that with this. And I have the most sensitive nose. I promise you, the most sensitive nose. And this thing does not smell.
Okay, amazing. Well, you've given us some great tips today. And my goal is not I hope there's somebody who comes on here and decides to implement all of these things, but I think we can all do a little better, right? And so my goal in talking to you initially was like, okay, what are some things that I can do a little bit better? Sometimes just a 5 millimeter shift, if we all made it, would change the world, right?
100%. You have to start somewhere, and better is better.
Yes.
No one is perfect, but better is better. And it's really hard to change our community if we don't change our house, right?
Yes. So I'm not sure about the Ziplocs yet, but there are some things that I will take immediately. I like the paper towel thing. The sponge thing is cool.
The sponges come from Full Circle Wool.
Okay.
They're really, and they're like doing it right in Northern California, Full Circle Wool.
Okay. You can awesome. And then if you guys want to hire Friday, she's not going to judge you and tell you have to change like every single thing in your worlds, but she can come in and tell you every single thing. And then maybe you can pick 10 of them or 12 of them. And maybe you implement those things for a year. And maybe the next year you want to take 10 more or not. Right. Yeah. But I think, this has opened up my eyes to things that like I wasn't aware of, or, just some small changes that I know that I can make that aren't going to like dramatically make my life so inconvenient or change my life. But that can change the world around us. So that was my goal. Thank you for coming on and chatting with us today. And
Thank you so much for having me.